Good morning, Angela Yee.
Good morning, TJ.
Charlamagne the God.
Peace to the planet. It's Thursday.
Yes, it's Thursday. It's a special day.
First day of Black History Month.
Today is the first day of Black History Month.
Absolutely. I don't know why, but I feel very black this month.
Today is also my wife's birthday, so happy birthday, Gia. Happy birthday, baby.
What are you guys doing? Is it a surprise?
I don't want to tell you, no, because she might be listening.
I didn't know if it was a surprise.
Now we're doing a bunch of things today. Today's her birthday. We're gonna go get some food at a new restaurant in the city. Then it's just gonna be a little spa time. We're just gonna spend quality time.
Man, Christmas just happened, man, and Valentine's is around the corner. You ain't got to do too much.
That is a terrible time to have a birthday in between those two holidays because Valentine's Day is coming up.
Terrible for who?
Kind of selfish for her to be expecting something right now.
Terrible for her.
Because Envy might be like this for your birthday and Valentine's Day.
Listen, Christmas. Listen, kind of selfish of her to be expecting something right now, okay? All right, Christmas just happened.
She could be a little selfish.
Valentine's Day right around the corner.
Trust me, I know my birthday's right after Christmas.
Yeah.
I always get joint presents. This $20 is for your birthday and Christmas.
That's right.
Well, speaking of joint presents, that's a great present. Get her a joint. You know what I mean? Get her some nice cushion with some good paper, some gold wrapping paper. Woo, that's a gift there now.
I'll get you guys some edibles. You can really
Woo!
I got
It's
all
the
that
thought
stuff
that counts.
already at the crib. Allegedly, I don't need none of that stuff.
It's the thought that counts. Women love to say that, but they be like, it's the thought that counts, but you better think big.
You better think big. You better have something in that bag in your hands when you walk in that door. My goodness. Well, we got a special guest joining us this morning. Amanda Seals will be joining us.
Yes, the homie Amanda Seals. She's actually going to be at Caroline's here in New York City, the Comedy Club, all weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yes, right. All right. Well, let's get the show cracking. Front page news, what are we talking about?
We are going to be talking about Valentine's Day, and then we'll talk about Tom Brady's water habit. How much water does he drink a day?
25 glasses.
It's more than that, and it could kill an ordinary person.
Well, okay. All right, we'll get into all that when we come back. Keep it locked. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Let's
Charlamagne the guy. Who was Charlamagne the guy?
I said Charlamagne the Guy.
You said the guy.
I'm the guy, too. All right, well, let's get into some front page news. Let's talk Tom Brady.
Yes, Tom Brady. He has his book, The TB12 Method, and he talks about his hydration routine. He reportedly drinks over 37 glasses of water per day.
That's a lot because the expert I read from the book said he drinks 25 glasses a day.
Well, here's what he had to say when asked about how much he drinks.
So you drink like 115 ounces of water?
Yeah, probably more, just because there's still a lot of output per day, so I'm still losing a lot of fluids. I'd say, like, if you weren't exercising on a particular day, that would be the baseline. I would say half your body weight in ounces. But you have muscle injuries because you've lost so much fluid. Muscles are dehydrated, muscles are tight. I try to stay really on top of my hydration. I'm asking my body to perform at the highest levels. I need the highest levels of hydration too.
And he adds electrolytes to everything he drinks.
Right, he said add electrolytes also.
Goodness gracious.
Now he also feels like you can flush out toxins and increase your chances of pliability, which is leaner, softer muscles. And he says that can prevent sunburns, which is actually just an anecdotal claim. Now, according to
put on some SPF 40.
professionals, they're saying it's not good because after you drink too much water, you could potentially die. That condition is called hyponatremia. That's when you flush so much water through your system, there's not enough sodium left. So
who you gonna listen to, the experts or Tom Brady? Look how that man's performing at 40 years old. I'm gonna listen to the experts when we got living proof that it's fine right here.
He must go to the bathroom a lot. Think about it. I go to the bathroom a lot. I drink about maybe
He don't got nothing else to do.
15 glasses.
Oh, you go to the Super Bowl and go to the bathroom. That's all you got to do all day long. What's the problem? Drop on the clues bomb for Tom Brady. Respect him, whatever.
well, don't try that at home, basically.
Well, I don't see why not. Live like Brady, damn it. That man is 40 years old and performing at the highest level.
Well, don't drink 37 glasses of water a day.
I don't see no reason not to. You got to give me. If Tom Brady wins that Super Bowl, then y'all gonna have to come with a very valid reason for me not to drink 37 glasses of water.
You could die.
Hey, 8 Super Bowls. How many you been to? 8, right? 6 wins.
And it's also very individual how much water you should drink. It depends on your body weight. They say men should drink more than women do per day. So
He drinks 4 protein shakes a day too.
Jeez.
yeah, I don't recommend that either.
Does he eat?
For the average person.
Yeah, but he's working out
Yeah, for the
way more
average-
than the average
He's
person.
burning
though.
a lot of it off.
Yeah. Like,
No, I'm saying for the average person, don't think that what he does is what you should do unless you're working out like Tom Brady. All right, now let's discuss the trial that's going on with these twins. Now, this all started about a year ago. Alexander Alexandria and Anastasia Duval. They were twins, and they had a yoga studio together, but they had a sibling rivalry that was supposedly just very deadly, apparently now. Alexandria's lawyers are saying the crash was an accident because what happened is the other sister drove her SUV off of a cliff in Hawaii and murdered her sister in the process. So they're saying that it was an accident. Now, other people are saying, though, they used to argue all the time about all kinds of things, and they actually had a really bad competition with each other. And in addition to that, they're saying Anastasia's former boyfriend says that Alexandria dressed in her sister's clothes after she killed her and tried to seduce him after the wreck happened. So they
hold on. That headline on Revolt says twin on trial for allegedly steering car off cliff to kill sister.
Yes.
What made her think she wouldn't die?
That's the other
They both in
thing.
the same car.
That's,
what's up, man?
That's a gamble.
Like,
We both going off the cliff?
So, yeah.
Shut up.
Seatbelt.
That's very logical to you, huh, Steve? Our cameraman Steve yelled out, she was wearing a seatbelt. Yeah, like driving off a cliff. Yeah, okay.
Like you won't die anyway. Oh,
yeah, airbag will protect you from driving off a cliff.
Well, maybe she was, you know, I said,
Okay.
maybe they got into a huge argument and she just went crazy and was like, we're going to kill us both. And she ended up living, who knows?
Well, y'all came in together, might as well die together.
But yeah, her argument is that it was just a tragic accident.
Okay. All right, well, that's front page news. Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you're upset, you need to vent, hit us up right now. Maybe you had a bad night, maybe you need to vent, or if you just want to spread some positivity. Phone lines are open. 800-585-1051. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Hello, who's this?
Hey, my name is Maureen, and I just had a question about why is it that when you're in the military and you're black, you get harsh treatment than the white?
Well, I'm not in the military. None of us are, so I don't know. But I would assume it's this thing called racism, prejudice, you know, systemic. It's been going on for a long time in America.
All right, that was my question.
Okay.
Have a blessed day.
And we appreciate you serving for us.
Hello, who's this?
Tanisha from Norfolk.
Hey, Tanisha, get it off your chest.
I'm blessed this morning because every day I wake up to go to my job and I can take care of my 2 babies. So I'm blessed this morning.
Congratulations, baby.
Thank you. I love y'all so much. I watch y'all listen to y'all every morning on my way to work.
We love you
Hey,
too.
thank you for having no taste.
Hello, who's this?
This is EJ.
Hey, get it off your chest.
Well, I just want to say that I'm thankful. Today, I had been in and out of the nursing homes 3 times because I couldn't walk. I'm at my house now. I'm walking and I'm helping my family, and I am thankful.
Okay,
Well,
Mama.
congratulations.
That is
baby.
truly a blessing.
I feel gratitude this morning. There's a lot of people thankful this morning. I like when gratitude is the attitude.
Hello, who's this?
Hi, how y'all doing today? This is T Mattis, Teemadis. I got something to get off my chest.
Go ahead, bro.
I'm not mad or blessed today.
Okay, waiting on
off
you.
my chest. Yeah, my thing to get off my chest is 2 years ago when I was in New York, I hollered at Angelique's homegirl and she told me ew to my face. It was all good. I didn't mind that, but I kept looking. But I will tell you this. I made an observation of you 3 collectively. Every morning you guys come off with some type of sexual innuendo off of another topic you were talking about, and you guys say no homo and stuff like that.
No, we
Nobody
don't.
says that ever.
We don't
here.
play no, we grown men. We
You guys
don't
do
pause.
that, especially you two, Charlamagne and DJ Envy. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Angela Yee.
I don't think me and Shaw
They do not
We let the gayness openly fly.
You guys party around that booty hole joke all day, every day. And I will say this. As a collective,
We play around the rim, above the rim, baby.
above the rim.
But check it out, though. As a collective, if you have taken any psychology courses and you studied throughout the course of your life, you guys either suffer from one or 2 things. Either you all are homophobic or you're curious.
What do you think it is
Yeah, what
from
do you
your
think it is?
assessment?
Chocolate
I
Thunder,
don't
what do you
leave that
think?
situation to y'all.
I don't know. I'm gonna ponder that one. I have never
What do you
thought
think,
about
Chocolate
it.
Thunder?
I never thought about it. Like I always tell y'all, man, there's nothing a man has told me yet to finesse me out my boxing briefs. All right,
Not yet. But it could happen.
Yeah, I mean, no, I ain't. I'm married.
Oh, okay. But if you wasn't married,
if I wasn't married, I ain't thinking about it.
I just can't get over the fact that my friend told him, ew.
But why is there no gray area though? Why we got to be either homophobic or gay?
I don't know.
Why can't we just be having some fun? I love a good racist joke, and I love a good gay joke.
Whoa.
All right. What you mean, whoa? It's no whoa.
A good racist joke.
Yes, I love a good joke about race, and I love a good joke about gayness.
Well, keep your fingers away from me because I don't like that type of fun.
That's not your idea of a good time.
That's not my idea of a good time, all right? Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you're upset, you need to vent. Hitting something now. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Hello, who's this?
Yo, this is Bar Sheen, man, coming out of Charleston, man. I'm out here in the morning heading out.
Yo, 843, what's happening? I need you to slow down, though. You sound like you had a lot of pork this morning.
Calm down, man.
Hey, yo, DJ Envy and Angela, this is a true story. I kid you not. I'm coming out of the joint. I was talking to a cat, and he hooked me up with Charlamagne the God. And Charlamagne talked to me before he got that platform. He didn't have no money or nothing. And he was dead broke. And he was amazed at the story. Soon as he got that platform, this is the green-eyed genie, the creator of hip-hop. All pioneers know it. And now everybody, they doing a movie on me. And here Charlamagne didn't have no money. Y'all didn't even know him, DJ Envy and Angela Lee. He didn't have no money or none of that. Soon as he got that platform, Goldie's my man, Charlamagne, your best friend, Goldie, nigga. He put you on the phone with me when I was driving the trolley bus in Charleston, doing the $1 million wedding, taking everybody to the plantation that was coming from all over the country, and you talked to me for about 30 minutes, and I told you I was the creator. You didn't have no money. You was dead broke. Soon as you got that platform, like many black people do, you flipped, got a book deal, moved your family out of there. Now you're over in Jersey. Goldie, me and Goldie talk about you all the time.
He works in Jersey, though.
He works in Charlamagne. And then me and Ben Bada driving around in the van with Grand Wizard Theodore in shootouts, 1975, 1976, 77, 78. I'm in the martial arts, tearing out the frame. 35 years in the martial arts. And we over here, I'm bringing this culture to all the 5 boroughs. Nobody knew no hip-hop, knew of nothing. You come out the country or some March Corner, first living in Charleston. Charleston, all of that back then was all bummy and dirty. Now you get a platform, you don't know the history, you don't know the life, but you know what's about it? It's millions just like you, Charlamagne. So I'm not going to even hate on you right now. You go on.
I don't know. I sound like hate to me, son. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, listen, Goldie is my guy. That's not my best friend, but that's my guy. And number 2, I don't understand your point. Yeah, I was broke at one point in my life, and people come up. I don't understand what your point is. I don't get it.
I don't.
Like you spoke to me back in the day, and then now what?
You spoke to him for 30 minutes. And I thought that was pretty good. You know, you from South Carolina, you was broke. You got a job in New York. You work in New York.
I don't see the problem.
I mean,
sound like a great come up story to me.
I don't know. I was proud of you. I mean, hey.
Salute to my dude, Golden Eyes. Though I still talk to Goldie. So I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, if your family was in South Carolina, that'd be a long drive every morning from South Carolina.
I don't get the point of the whole story he just told us.
Only about to be like, why you put me in it?
But good morning.
Goodness gracious, he was mad. Hello, who's this?
Hey man, it's Davey Ruffin again, man. I'm back. I'm trying to redeem myself. I'm all right though this morning. I'm blessed. How y'all doing?
Redeem yourself for what?
It's been a weird morning, but what's up, bro?
I'm all right, man. I've been on, I got on 2 days ago. I'm just an up-and-coming comedian. But what I really wanted to get off my chest is why at 6 in the morning, so certain people, I think they forgot about hygiene. You see what I'm saying? There's no reason at 6 in the morning you feel like the back of a trash truck and the shift just started. You know?
Damn right.
Hey, but if you do garbage, though, if you're a garbage person, it stays in your paws, though. Come on,
sanitation worker.
It might have been trash from the day before.
And to the guy that called right before this, it's Angela Yee. He kept saying Angela Lee. It's Angela
Everyone
Yee.
does that.
The man is clearly eating pork early in the morning, man.
Don't tell him
And I just want to say, sometimes people smell because of their clothes. You ever notice that? Sometimes people, if you shower and you put on dirty clothes or old dirty coat, you're still gonna smell. So make sure you wash your clothes.
Or you don't use, or if you use cheap detergent, sometimes cheap detergent don't work.
That's why you gotta Febreze everything.
Okay.
Get it off your chest. 800-585. You ain't broke no more, Solomon. You ain't got to Febreze everything no more.
I'm gonna always live like I'm broke.
You ain't got to Febreze. Just get some
I just wasn't sure what he wanted. Like,
nobody.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, we got rumors on the way.
Man, well, let's talk about a tragedy that happened yesterday. A really sad story about an ex-NBA player. We'll tell you all about that if you haven't seen it already on social media or on the news, okay?
All right, we'll get into that when we come back. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club.
First day of Black History Month. What's
That's
happening?
Right.
Show my black ass all month. Black Panther come out in a couple weeks too. Drop one of Clues bombs with Black Panther. I'm still jealous and envious of everybody who's already seen it.
All right, well, let's get to the rumors. Let's talk to Shy.
Well, The Chi has already been renewed for a season 2, so congratulations to them. It's only 4 episodes in.
Great show.
Showtime made a big announcement yesterday. Now, the head of programming, Gary Levine, said, from viewers and critics alike, the response to The Chi has been so enthusiastic from the very start that our decision to renew the series was an easy one.
Drop one of Clues bombs for Lena Waithe. Great show. I didn't get to see Sunday though.
I was flipping back and forth between the Grammys and The Chi.
The Chi makes me appreciate appointment television. Because, you know, when you binge watching shows, you don't really have the sense of urgency because you can just watch them whenever you want. But when you know that show come on Sunday at 10 o'clock, you're going to have your ass there Sunday at 10
I ain't
o'clock.
gonna lie, I missed a couple of weeks, and I like just watching it when I want to watch
episodes.
it. And I missed 3 weeks, and I've been watched it all week, and me and the wife watched it all week, and we sat there, laid down, and just watched it. I like that better.
All right, well, the series premiere is the network's best since Billions back in 2016. That's my show, too.
I like Billions.
All right, Blake Griffin, he was just as surprised as everybody else when he got traded. He found out on Twitter. He spent his entire 7-year career with the Clippers. He said no one from the organization called to inform him of that deal before it hit social media. So he said it was disappointing to find out on Twitter just like everybody else, but he understands that business is business and he's excited to be in Detroit.
I'm surprised he didn't have a no trades clause where they have to call him first, like with Melo. You couldn't just trade Melo. Melo had to approve that.
Yeah, but Melo was a wily veteran by the time that happened. Like Melo was on like his second or third contract.
Blake Griffin's
third contract.
Blake Griffin's a superstar. You don't think he'd have put that in his contract?
Not early on like that. And by the way,
it's a second contract.
Forget all of that. You know the advice we should be giving Blake Griffin? Where to buy a coat. All right, all right. Go tell him where to buy a coat right now. Okay,
They
it's
should have
cold
given
in
him
the
a heads up though before Twitter.
What? That it's cold in Detroit?
No, that he's getting traded.
Yeah, he need to
Come
get a
on.
starter jacket. Get yourself a starter.
All right, and rest in peace to Rasul Butler. He was killed in a car crash. Ex-NBA player. He and his wife were killed. So sad. He was 38 years old, and they believe the car was speeding before he lost control. It was a Range Rover around 2 a.m. He struck a parking meter and slammed into a wall, and the car flipped. So rest in peace to him. He's survived by a daughter from a previous relationship, Raven Butler. Now, he and his wife were both killed.
Jesus.
Really sad situation. Leah LaBelle. So rest in peace to them, and our condolences to their families.
Prayers up for them and their family. Jesus
As well,
Christ.
a lot of people on social media were also paying their respects. Blake Griffin said, "You were a great teammate and an even better person. Rest in peace, my friend." John Wall said, "I will always remember the time we shared together as teammates. You were the big brother." Kevin Love said, "Incredibly sad news to hear about Rasul Butler and his wife Leah. Prayers to both of their families through this tough time." And Kobe Bryant said, "Rest in peace, my brother," as well as Allen Iverson.
That's kind of a freak accident, right? I was looking at the moon last night because they had that big full moon. And I got in the car last night with the driver. I said, all right, now you drive carefully. After I saw that story, because you know I'm a hypochondriac. So.
All right, well, I'm Angela Yee, and that is your rumor report.
All right, thank you, Ms. Yee. When we come back, Amanda Seals will be in the building. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
The amazing Amanda Seals. Now, where do we start with Amanda Seals? It's so much I want to touch. Like, I love what you said, and we've talked about this. You said men love pussy but hate women.
I said some men.
Some men, yes, not all men. Oh, my bad. Yeah, that's a whole other argument. Some men.
Some men.
I've just been seeing that quite a bit, like especially when you see dudes who are like fearless about it, like this Jay, whatever day person.
What?
Jay Holiday.
Oh, okay. I was confused.
I call him whatever day.
Whatever day.
Just another irrelevant holiday. Groundhog Day.
Right.
You know, National Hat Day, Jay Holiday, all the same.
Because it's really become this thought process that says like, as women rise, men think they're falling. And that's just false. You know, it should be incredibly ridiculous. It's incredibly ridiculous to consider the rise of women to be the fall of men. Just the way that white supremacy literally stands on the shoulders of, oh, if anybody else has power, then we don't have power.
Yes.
You know, and that is a complete fallacy. So when you hear men who are really ardently like, you know, stop empowering these women, you know, women need to know that like they need to stay in their place. It's like, what do you know what you're saying? And I think honestly, what they don't really realize that they're saying is that we're weak.
Yeah.
We're only strong if you're not as strong as us. That's what you're really saying as a man when you say that. So I really feel like a lot of dudes, when we as women are like, why are y'all fighting us so hard on this? Like, why? Like, I know a lot of women who are just like, why do brothers fight with us so hard? Like, why are you so mad at me all the time?
And then brothers fight other brothers who help support sisters.
And it's like, why? And then you realize it's like, you just don't like me, nigga.
Yeah.
Like, you don't like me. You like my body parts and what that makes you feel like physically. But in terms of like me as a person, in terms of me as like someone who exists in this world with dreams, you don't really want to see that happen because for some reason you think that is going to prevent you from achieving yours. And the more that we can close that chasm and understand that like it's not that way, we should be uplifting each other regardless of gender, etc., then I think the better off we'll be, especially in a Black love space.
It's interesting because no matter how far you think you've come, you realize how we haven't. Like, there's two examples in the past day. Baller Alert did this ballerific, you know, they did a post on me and some guy wrote, yeah, you know, she had to F somebody to get in that position. She F'd everyone up at the station.
What, did you post on Baller?
Yeah, they did a post.
Jesus.
And you just said, you know, she F'd everyone. There's thousands of employees at iHeart. Okay?
I'm not a Baller Alert to make it in where she's
but
at
then,
now.
For the record, I was accused of sucking job too. Just for the record.
And then the second thing was Angela Rye was on here and I posted a picture and I deleted the comments, but somebody was like, oh, Charlamagne's definitely effing her. That's why she's always up there. Why aren't you just up here on your own merit just because? But and it's crazy to me, and it's guys that are saying that.
Always. Cardi talks about that. I talked about that. Like, dudes really be in their whack-ass lives mad at you for living your best one. And I'm like, it's not like there's not a track record. It's not like we just pop up like, ta-da! Right. You know, like I just popped up from somebody's dick, like, ta-da! That's not how this turned out.
If it was that easy, why did you do something?
Like, and I always say, like, there's no secrets of success.
Right.
There's either working hard or f***ing somebody that's working hard. That's it. There's only two routes.
And that truly work though? Can you just? I still think you gotta have talent.
I think you still have to have a certain level, but I think in terms of access to certain spaces.
Will you stay in that space? Maybe not if you don't have the ability.
Right.
Will you get your foot in the door for certain reasons? Possibly.
You'll get your ass in the door.
But are you going to be there 20 years later, excelling and getting promoted and getting?
You don't even have the stamina. You don't. Well, maybe you do.
They might have the stamina.
I was
And plus, it's a new woman turning 18 every day. So those guys are just gonna, you know, go find something new.
Keep recycling.
But even like, I mean, I've known all of y'all for forever. Like, y'all have all seen like my grind and whatnot. So it's like, it's Angela, the same thing. Like, we've seen you for so long. So
I see your hate up front. Like, it seems like they wanted you to die. Like, they hated you. Every job that I seen you at, I was like, Amanda's not a bad person. I don't
That goes back to women though. That goes back to like this insecurity men have with women. Because if you were a guy acting the way that you acted, they'd be like, oh, she's a boss.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I've been getting this thing lately where I've been getting men that are like, she's masculine. Like, she's masculine. She's Amanda Seales is not, she's pretty, but she's not sexually attractive because, and there's never a because, right? Like, it's always just like, we're just saying that. And then the next conversation is, she be talking too much. So anybody can put that together. Oh, you think I'm masculine and not sexually attractive because I have opinions, because you feel like only men should get the platform to speak. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I think people think because of my Instagram, like who I am on Instagram, like they think that I'm not sensitive, even though like I'm a Cancer, so I'm like full sensitive, like at all times.
Yeah. Boy,
yes.
You already know.
But also just as a woman, like, I really take pride in my womanhood and like my femininity. And yes, I have like tomboy aspects, but at the end of the day, it's like someone telling me I'm masculine, like that will start to just because that's not what I'm going for. Like that's not what I'm about. Like, it's not what I'm going for. Look at all this snack. Look at these clavicles. Like, I'm not. But it's so like unnerving to know that literally just by being an intellectual and being fearless about speaking on it, that dudes is like, like I can't, she's never gonna get a man. You told me that before.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I can see that.
I remember that. Yes, back in our POV days on Hip Hop POV, Charlamagne was like, "You ain't never gonna get a man because you got too many opinions and you just be talking too much and like dudes don't want to hear that." And I feel like people be like, "Why are you friends with him?"
A lot of people say that.
Yeah. That was 2 years ago.
But I'm gonna tell you. But I'm gonna say no. But it's because I've seen change. Mm-hmm. You know, like there's people that, especially like people you date, where you're just like, I'm changing, I'm working on myself, but you not. Mm-hmm. So how can I continue to be with you when I'm doing work and you're not? We may not be doing work at the same pace, but you literally ain't doing shit, nigga. Like your work is you trying to figure out like what's the next kind of weed I can find. You know, like that's what you're considering work. Whereas like I'm really genuinely working on myself, and with you, I feel like you're really genuinely working on yourself. And sometimes people don't see that because of your demeanor, or they think you're like strong and wrong. And I think sometimes it's really just you're just like, I haven't figured this out, and I'm gonna just be solid in the fact that I don't know what this is.
Absolutely.
And I'll figure it out later. But that's part of the reason why like we are friends, because we can disagree on things and just be like, Jake.
Now what happened with Russell Simmons? What was the situation with Russell?
The situation with Russell was that I was at his office because I guess, I don't know what Hassan's like actual like title is, but he works very close to Russell. He's worked with him for quite a long time. And I was shooting the second season of my web series, Get Your Life, which you donated to. Thank you. And I needed a space to shoot an office scene. Okay. And so Hassan had hit me up randomly, and I was like, oh, you know what? Do you know, because he's lived in LA longer, I was like, do you know anywhere that I could shoot at? And he was like, oh, you should come by the office and see about maybe shooting in the All Def Digital offices. So I came by, and you know, I've known Russell since I was on Def Poetry Jam when I was 19, and we've all been in this business forever, so you kind of just see stuff. I did a lot of the voting stuff that he was doing back when he was doing all that stuff, and so I went and I was sitting in his office, and we were talking about Insecure. And he was saying, you know, big ups on Insecure, and, you know, I really like the show. I like what you're doing on the show.
This is recent.
Yeah, this was 2016.
Sheesh, okay.
Yeah, and he was like, I really like you on Insecure. You know, I see what y'all doing, da-da-da. He was like, oh, you know, man, have we ever...
Jesus Christ.
And I was like, this is why I left hip-hop. This is why I left hip-hop.
Maybe he ate a little piece of meat that day.
And so this is what happens in those moments, though. This is what happens in those moments. And I know a lot of women out there, I'm sure men do know about this too, but I'm speaking as a woman. In that moment, you have to really sit and think, like, am I going to let this moment of their ignorance screw up my vision of what I need to happen? I need to shoot this scene in an office.
What was your reply?
No. And he said, well, I mean, oh, right. Because I would remember that. So it was like there was even another cap, like, and I'm just sitting there,
so
like,
dead serious. It was no joke. It was no haha. No.
That's still not funny.
I mean, it's
still not funny.
No rim shot or nothing. It was just.
I think to him it's humorous because he said this to people before. So I think for him it's like, you know, I'm a comic. Like, you have bits. And I think that was like one of his kind of shticky things, and I think that's why it didn't register to anybody in the room as problematic. You know, because they're just like, oh, that's Russ. Like, he's just doing his Russ thing. But for me, especially having been out of hip hop so long now, it's so much sharper because like I don't experience that in the comedy space. Right. And I really remember. Really? I don't.
Okay, got you.
I don't. It absolutely happens. Yeah. I don't.
But people don't know how to play with you though.
At this point, yes. Yeah. And in the hip hop space though, we know. You experience it all day long, and there is no human resources for hip hop. I have so many stories. I always say, one day I'm gonna write a book called "Your Favorite Rapper Is a Lame." And it'll literally just be text messages to my T-Mobile sidekick that I've gotten over the years. You know, and poems, because I've gotten two.
And you know what's so great? Hip hop has encouraged that kind of behavior. Think about how many songs you've heard, like, is we f***ing or what? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know, and you can't like fight this battle as one person, right? So also, like, as I'm sitting in that office, you're also in someone else's office, and so it kind of does feel kind of crazy to like then now be on them, like, yo, like, what you know. So it definitely is always funny to me when people say, like, why don't you say anything?
Right.
There's so many reasons, valid, regular reasons why you don't say anything. And I love it because most of the people who say that are people who don't say shit. Like, why are you saying something about me saying something as opposed to talking about rape? Why haven't you ever mentioned anything about rape or sexual assault or rape culture up until this moment? Why is it questioning me that is bringing your voice out as opposed to questioning this whole thing that's been happening
Now,
forever?
let me ask
I
you
will
this.
say a lot of guys didn't know, though.
No
I think about like what exactly entailed rape culture. Like a lot of things that were normal. Like even Russell saying that to you, he probably saying that to you for years and just thought it was normal.
Literally, Hassan hit me and was like, he was just being flirty. And mind you, they've written an affidavit saying that none of this happened, and of course, it happened. I don't lie about shit. But they definitely thought that was just like jovial, like
and you ever
fun.
spoke to him after it all?
Spoke to who?
Or seen Russell or
his
spoke to
team,
him or anybody or
No.
in passing, nothing?
What about Aziz Ansari's situation?
See I think there's a couple things with that. I think there is actual like legitimate cause to say like you need to be aware of your position as like someone of authority in a situation and how that, you know, carries out with other people. But I think there's also something to be said for like women having agency. You know, we have agency to say no. And we, in certain situations, lose that agency, and that's when it becomes rape, right? When we say no and that's ignored. But in her situation, it doesn't seem from what's been said that is the case, and that it was more so that she was uncomfortable, like maybe she felt uncomfortable, like that it would hurt his feelings, or that she didn't necessarily have like the language to know how to say no. Because I know sometimes it's like you don't want to burn the bridge, but you don't know how to like get out. So you're trying to figure out like how to not be rude. Because listen,
still be cool.
Yeah, like women are we're still raised in this day and age to like not ruffle feathers and not make it awkward and, you know, not make men, we don't want you to have feelings, you know, so we don't want to make you uncomfortable. And so you're trying to figure out, like, I'm a linguist, so I feel like I'm pretty good with like finding the language, but I completely understand, like, as a younger woman with this person that you do admire and that you do want to work with, it's like, how do I navigate these waters? But as valid as that is, it wasn't sexual assault according to what I've heard. You know, I think it was a dude acting up, doing the most, and that he wasn't checked.
And I think he gave some trash ass hit, and she was sick of it and wanted to go home.
I had that happen recently.
And I learned I learned this from you and my homegirl Rachel too. Sometimes women are in these positions and y'all feel like y'all have to sleep with the guy just to get them to go out. Like, wow.
You're just like, oh my God. Especially, like I've definitely
You have to sleep with him.
I never heard of pity party.
You're just like, this will end so much faster if I just do this. Like I've had someone giving me head and been like, and it was like just bad. And I was like, you know what, maybe
I should just have sex.
Yeah, maybe I should just have sex. Maybe
Don't tell guys that, because then they're gonna think that
maybe that'll be better. But you know what? So it's funny you say that, because after that instance, I felt so whack. I remember walking and just feeling like Sarah McLachlan was playing. Like it was just like like I always reference Sarah McLachlan for like those times I'm just like in the arms of an angel. I feel so much better right now if I was in those arms. Like, and I just felt really dirty because I realized that I had not used my agency and I had let someone else like deter me from doing what I felt comfortable doing. And
oh, you just did what you want and it was whack.
No, but I didn't really want, I was just kind of in a situation. If I could have gotten out of it, yeah. And at the end of the day, I was like, don't let that happen again. And I found myself in a similar situation, you know, a couple of years later with somebody who was like, I bet you if I give you hit, you won't let me hit. And I was like, I bet you I won't. And
what kind of game is this?
and sure enough, after I was like, all right.
We had a baby.
Ta-da! and he put a pillow on his head and would not talk to me. And it was a rapper.
Wow.
So that'll be a feature story in my book.
That's what risk you take as a man, though, because that's a man's trick. Let me put the tip in, or let me just eat it. That's a risk you take.
But you know what? The problem is like sometimes you take L's. Like that's what life is. Like, you take risks, you know? Sometimes the reward is greater than the risk. But I feel like women are way more willing to take risks than dudes. Because like dudes take a risk on one chick and it goes wrong and they're like, I hate women forever. Yeah. Women, I consider myself like, someone had said a comment on the last time I was on the show, and they were like, yo, it's like, she keep taking L's from niggas, but she keep coming back strong. It's like, thanks, fam. Because it's true. Like, I just seem to have this, like, unending level of resilience in, like, I just take the L's and I keep on coming back. Like,
last time you were in a relationship, right?
I was starting one that has since
deteriorated.
Yeah. Well, because...
Is that the guy with the trash ass head?
No.
Oh, damn.
No. But he just has a trash ass character.
True.
And I always say, like, people push you and then get surprised when you trip.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dudes, I'm speaking about dudes because that's who I date. Dudes will absolutely drive you to crazy and then get out the car and be like, how do we get here? Yes. And it's like,
they'll make you crazy and then call you crazy.
And can call you crazy. And I'm always just like, how are we so distant on seeing like how this landed here? And I talk about it in my stand-up, you know, just like at this point, I've realized like I have to be very particular about who I'm letting in my space, who I'm letting in my body. And all of us, like as you get older, like you absolutely like change in terms of who you gonna let in. You know, I talk about like I look at dudes now like I look at the side of a cereal box. I want to know your nutritional value. You know,
what kind of artificial flavorings?
Exactly. Like what is your daily suggested dose of crazy baby mama? Like what is that in your life? Because I'm gonna have to deal with that. You know, and like, do you have tax returns? You know, and like all of these things.
Everything you're saying is real. I got homeboys and they be mad that women are in love with them, but I'm like, bro, you just been living with her.
Like you took her to see dolphins. Like I had a dude legit was like, I was just being a nice guy, bruh. If you being a nice guy, take me to Cheesecake Factory. Like you can't take me on a trip to Laguna and see dolphins on a boat and then be on some like, why would you like me?
Why would you like me?
Like and it's like you don't have to be a dick, but it's like just be aware of the feelings. Like I feel like there's a lot of emotional manipulation that goes on where I had a homeboy that I'm not even talking to him right now. He's just my homeboy because I realize like you're being selfish and you're misleading women. Like your life is trash right now, but you dating. And if you want to date, fine. But then you're like consistently dating one person, and now that person wants to be in a relationship with you, and now it's 3 months into y'all seeing each other, and you're like, yo, my life is trash. I can't do this. That's not fair.
You're a womanizer regardless of how good you treat the woman.
Well, what did we say on Insecure? You the worst kind of nigga. You think you a good nigga.
Ooh. Wow.
You know?
We sparked the conversation here about colorism.
Ah,
okay,
yes.
when Mr. Marilyn Negra was here. Has being light-skinned helped your career?
Why are you doing this to me?
No, you know, Insecure, you're the only light-skinned female, right, that I can think
Correct.
of. You are.
Yeah. I think help is a strong word. I mean, I think there's always things that happen outside of your consciousness. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if there have been conversations outside of my awareness that may have been rooted in that.
Right. But it's not like you were like, I'm light-skinned, do I get the job?
Right. Like it was never that. I mean, but I think that when it comes to colorism is an actual real thing that is rooted in how darker skinned people are discriminated against. And I don't think being light skinned makes you a part of the colorism conversation in terms of someone who is being discriminated against for your skin color. But I do think that there is still a unique space that happens when you are a light skinned person within the Black community and within society.
You think it's different for women than it is for men too?
I don't know. I mean, I think
as far as light-skinned men, because I feel like the perception of men when it comes to color is different than it is for women.
I think there's still like this kind of idea that like light-skinned dudes is pansy,
right?
You know, and like all of y'all are Christopher Williams.
But is it a stereotype if it's true?
Look at that E right now.
I'm just saying.
Look at E right now.
I mean, I find it hard that Charlamagne could call me a beige bitch.
He's so mad and he can't say that.
And you can't say anything back.
And if I say anything back,
but that's my
oh my gosh,
that's part of my issue that I feel like all of this comes from an outside source. Colorism is not rooted in Black people. It's once again, as usual, rooted in a divisiveness that's created by an oppressor, right? And so then we internalize it within ourselves, and now we just fighting amongst ourselves while they over there like, ha ha, your mom's in jail, so's yours. Wanna play? That's The Simpsons. But that's The Simpsons. But I just feel like we have to get a handle on this, you know? I think the whole situation with you and the Afro-Latina colorism community was just people don't know that you're a nigga from South Carolina, and that you really just haven't been exposed to those conversations. And people are like, but he knows a lot of Latinas. I'm like, but he's not. Those aren't the conversations that you're having with the Latina women who you know. You're not asking them like, so like, what's your experience, you know, as a Afro-Latina? And I know that maybe they want you to do that, but that's just, I would be surprised. So I was listening to you like, oh, I hope that they have a further conversation about this, because I think that there's a lot of Americans that
People
don't
want
know
that
this
conversation anymore, though. They don't want that conversation.
Well,
if you ask somebody something and you don't know, then you're dumb, then you're Uncle Tom, you should know.
Or you're extra, yeah.
But I mean, even when, like I said, when Dasha Polanco actually hit me about this, because she came up here and she talked about being Afro-Latina, explained it then, but with the Mara La Negra, even if she's telling us something that maybe you weren't aware of, it is worth listening to. And
absolutely.
And this is her experience. This is her saying, this is what happens to me. And it is true. Like, I went and researched it. If you look at the telenovelas, you see it's all women that look like blue eyes and, you know, blonde hair. They are very fair skinned. And she was saying, even auditioning, they were telling her you could be a slave. Or a prostitute, but you can't get that lead role. So if that's an issue that's still happening and she's saying, this is my experience, this is what happened, you know, then you're like, okay, I had no idea.
But I know this Negro, and I knew when he was questioning her, I was like, he's not even, I know him. Like, he's asking something else that he's not really asking right now. And we had a separate conversation. And I wish people would also understand that, who are listening and who are watching, like, you're not going to get access to every conversation that happens between people in the public space. Like, it's just not the way it is. And people feel like they have a right to you. They have they deserve, they're entitled to like everything about you because you're in the public space. And sometimes you just need to trust that, like, if I had a conversation with a nigga and we're still cool, you should be cool. Like, I have enough of a track record at this point to know that, like, I'm not out here just running around with the niggas.
Well, Amanda's going to be at Caroline's.
She will.
Thursday, 7:30.
We can literally sit here and talk to Amanda all day.
7:30 and 10. Saturday, 7:30 and 10. Go get your tickets right now.
Can we end with one thing?
Sure.
I just want to know, why do we keep falling for the same old Kim Kardashian plays? It's the same. It's not even a new playbook anymore. It's nude pics. It's braids every.
What do you consider? I've seen it.
It's just the old.
But what do you consider to be falling for?
Reacting to it, giving them what they want, which is attention. Even me now asking you this question.
I think it's the same thing with like the Tommy Lorenz of the world, who you had up here on some shit. That's the only time that you talked to. That was the only time that I was like, this is problematic. Because this Trevor Noah did the same shit, and I'm like, why are y'all giving her a platform? And even if you do give her the platform, there was too much reverence, you know, and that's what ends up happening. You get these white women in these spaces, and then everyone becomes like really polite. And I always feel like politeness in the way of purpose is a problem. So the purpose for her being there should have been to like gather her.
Well, it was
as a ponytail.
When I came downstairs, TMZ was there. So I'm like, what the?
No, that was another day that TMZ.
No,
even if TMZ, that should have made you even more
I never went to lunch with her. I actually went to a meeting. They had a meeting with her at Viacom because somebody thought it was going to be a good idea for me and her to do a show together. And I was like, absolutely not. And every woman in Viacom was like, you better not. And we was in the meeting having a discussion on why her rhetoric is dangerous for my people.
And what was her response?
Well, the conversation that we actually had was about BLM and Trump supporters. Because, you know, she had this thing where she feels like BLM is anti-police and they're cop killers. And she was basing
You know what? We're already talking about her too much.
Okay.
We're already talking about her too much.
But she was basing that off one video she saw.
She's an idiot. And the real point is that these broads are idiots. These people, not just her, like these folks, like the Tucker Carlsons and these, you know, the Hannitys and all these people, they're idiots. And I completely agree with you. It's like, how do you manage it? Because I feel like it's a crisis of conflict. On one hand, I feel like if you don't say something, it kind of still like continues, and if you do say something, like you said, it's like it fuels it. So it's like, well, then we have to change what we say or how we don't say it, and I don't really know what the answer to that is, because the nigga in me has to say something every time, which is why they say
I think Barack is to blame for a lot of that too, though. And I'm going to tell you why. Remember his last speech where he was like, you should reach across the aisle and talk to people that you have differences with and people you don't agree with. I don't think that he knew this was going to rise.
But that was the same thing with Martin Luther King. I think Martin Luther King, for all intents and purposes, in the beginning was just like, we should all be together. He was speeching. Yeah. He was really wanting unity, and then towards the end of his days, he was like, I really know how to playbook, player.
When Martin had that rhetoric, Malcolm was calling him an Uncle Tom and a coon and a sellout.
And then what were they doing? Trying to divide.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, everyone comes to the table like, maybe there was a better way.
Absolutely.
But I think for now, it's like, how do we? There's never going to be like unified group thought, because you don't necessarily even want that anyway. Mm-hmm. Like you want there to be levels of individualism and people asking questions and whatnot. But I think that not everybody has the same level of information. And so the issue with like a Kim Kardashian and whatnot is that you have people who are responding because they're just like, they're pretty. And that's enough. And then you have people like myself who are just like irritated that they continue to be given attention.
Well, I flagged all that pictures. I definitely try to.
I did.
I did.
It did nothing. They're still up.
One picture went down though.
I think she blurred the nipple.
Yeah.
And then they even did a special Instagram, like put in a special thing that said like, if you are reporting, thank you for reporting Kim Kardashian's photo. However, like she's not violating our community guidelines with this photo. And I thought that was very like.
Well, actually, it's her own special guidelines.
I definitely tried to flag it like 10 times yesterday.
I just think that there's something like to be said for the fact that like when that's all like that's basically like all you're giving. Like people are like, well, Rihanna does that. I'm like, Rihanna has albums and is acting, and like there's just more that she's giving to the zeitgeist. Yeah. And I don't think any of them are really like adding to the canon. I know that I, as a comic, I get the opportunity to now like add to the canon. With Smart, Funny, and Black, I'm adding to the canon. And you guys with this show, like you're continuing to add to conversations, even if people don't like you, they still listen because they're like, well, I want to have conversations about what I don't like about what they're saying.
Right.
Bring it.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Amanda
Seals, guys.
Amanda Seals for Caroline's.
Caroline's, February 1st, 7:30. That's tonight. February 2nd, 7:30 and 10. Saturday, 7:30 and 10. Go get your tickets now. And it's The Breakfast Club. It's Miss Amanda Seals. The guy we are, The Breakfast Club. Let's get to the rumors. Let's talk, Charlie. Walk.
Well, following these accusations from a former employee, Tristan Cooper-Smith, Charlie Walk has resigned from the show The Four.
Wow.
Now, he will be on this week's episode, which was pre-taped, but he will not be on any more episodes after this. He has issued a statement following Republic Records placing him on leave after accusations of sexual harassment. He said, out of respect for the contestants, my fellow judges, and everyone involved with the show, I have made the decision not to attend the finale of The Four. I do not want my presence to be a distraction. Needless to say, this is very upsetting. Although I continue to support the Me Too movement, there has been an extreme rush to judgment against me in this particular case, which is unfair and inconsistent with anything that even actually happened. I welcome any investigation so that in short order, these unfounded and hurtful accusations can be put to rest.
Well, do you still get a deal with Republic if you win, or is that off the table too?
Well, I'm sure it's probably still on the table. He just might not be there.
Still on the
He's
table.
on leave right now from Republic, so I don't know what's going to end up happening.
And by the way, you can release all the long statements you want, but when you resign like that, people automatically look at that as an admission of guilt.
Well, he's on leave from the record label, so he hasn't resigned, I guess, while they're
he resigned from The Fall.
But he did, yes. There was only one more episode left, so he's just not going to the finale, so who knows what's going to happen
season.
For the next season.
Yeah, I'm sure he had more than a one-season contract.
All right, Tammy Roman is going to be returning to Basketball Wives LA. So on the new season, she's going to be joined by Evelyn Lozada, Jackie Christie, Jennifer Williams, Shoni O'Neill, and they're also going to have two new castmates who have a connection with a former NBA player, Byron Scott. So they're trying to get his current girlfriend.
I don't want want to see Tammy Roman on that. I want to see Tammy Roman doing like the Bonnet Chronicles or something. I want to see Tammy Roman expressing her personality. I enjoy her POV.
Well, she might have a reason because she said on Shade Room, she said sometimes you got to give to get. Wait for it.
So maybe she's doing that to promote her other stuff.
Or maybe they gave her a deal
for something else. If you come back,
she had to come back to this. Yeah.
It happens all the time. Now, speaking of her Bonnet Chronicles, here's what she had to say about Kim's very sexy, revealing photos that were posted on social media.
Your black card gets revoked today, Kanye, because it ain't a black man alive that will let his wife pose for the gram like that unless he pimping. Kim, I just want to say, honor the stage of life that you're in right now. You're a wife, you're a mother of 3 beautiful kids, and you're a businesswoman. We cannot negate the fact that you have built an empire, and maybe you're just doing what you know how to do. The only thing you know how to do, how you got into business, I don't know, but you passed that now, okay? And we're not negating the fact that you have been consistent in building your brand and your family's empire. When you get the camera and you go to the mirror, think about what would Beyonce do. And it ain't that.
Drop on the clue bomb to Tammy Roman. I ain't gonna lie. The only thing I probably don't agree with is the beginning, because these dudes definitely be letting their women be on Instagram half naked, okay? And back in the day, guys used to date strippers and be wifing strippers, and strippers would be in the strip club stripping their ass.
But that's not. She damn near fully naked though. Like you can see.
But she's been naked in Playboy magazine before. She has a sex tape out. She has a sex tape out.
Think about when we were growing up and these dudes was wifing strippers. Like these girls were strippers, be in the strip club with them.
But Kim K ain't a stripper.
Still though, what's the difference between dating a stripper and having your girl be on Instagram half naked? The only thing changed is technology. What's the difference?
Can you guys be naked on social media, or will it get flagged?
Who?
You and Envy.
I don't have that kind of print. You know, if you notice, I wear a lot of gray pants all the time. I don't have that kind of print, so I would never play myself like that. I'd never play myself like that.
All right, Leslie
I'm a grower,
Jones.
not a shower.
Now this this was a really concerning post that she put on Instagram. She posted a selfie of herself in the gym, and she said, "Okay, back to cardio, but confession. I feel like I'm doing it for nothing. I know it's not. I'm healthy and look good, but I really feel like what's it all for if the people you want to notice don't? I just feel like I might die alone."
Damn,
sorry, that's pretty heavy today. That was so sad to me to read something like that. She didn't go into any further detail about anything, but I guess she was feeling really down.
Salute to Leslie Jones. Drop on the clues bombs for Leslie Jones. Last time I was up at SNL, I introduced Leslie to Wax, because Wax is always talking about Leslie, saying that's his sister. When I introduced him, Leslie goes, "I can see that." Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And Quavo is in trouble. Allegedly, somebody is saying that he beat them up at One Oak in New York City. The alleged victim is Eric the jeweler. He reported that incident to the NYPD. And according to law enforcement sources, he's saying that it was Quavo that allegedly did it. Yeah, can't imagine.
You know why I don't believe him? Because he didn't say the Migos jumped him. Quavo ain't jumping nobody by himself. And Offset and Takeoff ain't letting him jump nobody.
Well, Eric the jeweler is saying that he got jumped by Quavo and another man who was partying with the group. But he said it wasn't Offset and it wasn't Takeoff.
But it was a Migo. He just don't know. He don't know which one that raps.
Now he's also saying when he left the club, he realized that his $30,000 chain was missing as well. So now he's also filing a robbery report with the cops. So that's what he is trying to say. And
I gotta hear both sides, man.
Well, the good thing about most of the clubs, they all have video, they all have cameras in there. So,
what happened? Why did Quavo or whoever take off on you? Or whoever, however it went down. If it went down.
All right. Well, I'm Angela Yee, and that is your rumor report.
All right. Thank you, Miss Yee. Charlamagne.
Yes.
Who giving that donkey to?
Listen, man, we all have filled out job applications. We all have put down former employees for references. This is a reason that a former employee gave for somebody not getting a job. I don't think you've ever heard anything like this.
All right. We'll get into that when we come back. Keep it locked. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Dog here today for February 1st, 2018. The first day of Black History Month goes to Justin Payne. Now, you have no idea who Justin Payne is. Just know that it's the first day of Black History Month, and Negroes is already embarrassing us, okay? Just know that black people are not a monolith, and Justin Payne is part of a tribe called Jackass. And a tribe called Jackass is a crew of individuals brought together not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their dumbass character. Now, we've all had jobs, and when you apply for a job, you have to put down references and previous work history. This is why no matter what happens at whatever job you work for, you should always strive, to leave a good impression. Doesn't always work that way, but that should be the goal, because when you apply for another job and they call you an old job, you want them to give you a glowing report, okay? Or Justin Payne was trying to get a job in New Orleans. Not just any job. He wanted to be a police officer. I'm not mad at that. 26-year-old young black man wants to be a cop. I actually encourage that, okay? The best way to change the system is to be a part of it. So I will always salute brothers who want to be law enforcement. We need people from the community, policing the community, and I assume Justin wanted to do just that. Now, I don't know how hard it is to become a cop, but I'm sure the background check is ridiculous, right? I'm sure it's intense. Your father's a cop, Envy, right?
Yes.
I'm sure
Retired.
Retired, but I'm sure that background check is ridiculous, right?
Yep.
I mean, so if you put down a reference or a former employer, they gonna call. Okay, well, Justin Payne applied to be a cop in New Orleans in October of 2017, and he put down as a reference a former employer in Chicago called Southwest Side Trucking Company. The New Orleans Police Department sent a reference request to Justin's former employers, and Justin's name raised the red flag for Southwest Side Trucking Company, and I guarantee nobody out here could guess why. Nobody listening to my voice right now could guess why. I want you to think about any former employer you have ever had, and I want you to think about all the reasons you may get a bad reference from a former employer. Tardiness, poor performance, stealing,
right?
Quit without notice, falsifying a timesheet, not getting along with your manager. Those are pretty common reasons that you will get a poor reference from a former employer. Well, there's nothing common about Justin Payne because Southwest Side Trucking Company called Chicago police, who in turn called New Orleans police to alert them that Justin Payne was a suspect in a nearly year-old murder case. Now, it gets better. It gets better. Well, actually, it gets worse, but because of the circumstances, it gets better for this donkey of the day. See, Justin Payne worked in Chicago for Louis Pena, a 64-year-old who was found dead the morning of December 30th, 2016. Rest in peace to him. He was found in his office trailer of his firm in the 4200 block of South Keenan. Chicago police have been called for a report of a person shot, but Pena, a West Lawn neighborhood resident, died of multiple blunt force and sharp force injuries and an assault. Okay, no arrests were made in the days after the attack. Well, New Orleans police asked Payne to come to their headquarters under the pretense of providing more information for his job application. Well, when Justin showed up, he was met by Chicago detectives. He was pressed, and he later confessed to the killing. So let me put this in layman terms for you. Justin Payne applied to be a cop in New Orleans and puts down Southwest Side Trucking Company as a reference. At Southwest Side Trucking Company, he worked for a man named Louis Pena, and Justin Payne killed Louis Pena. Yes, he killed his former boss and still put his former job down as a reference. Now, I'm not the highest grade of weed in the dispensary, okay, but I've worked at 4 other radio stations in my life. I worked at Taco Bell. I worked at Demo in the Mall. I did telemarketing, a bunch of places. But if I wanted to be a cop, right, and I know I had killed someone at one of those previous jobs, I don't think I'd put that former employer as a reference.
Nah, me neither.
I don't even understand why Justin Payne put them down as a reference, period. You killed your boss, applied to be a cop, and put down your former employer as a job reference. Yeah. Justin Payne has a warrant for his arrest now for first-degree murder, and he is jailed without bond in New Orleans and is waiting to be extradited to Chicago. Some donkey of the days just sell themselves. Please let Justin Payne hear the smooth voice of Remy Ma this morning, please.
Hee-haw, hee-haw, you stupid motherfucker, are you dumb?
All right.
Well, shout out to everybody in New Orleans. I'm headed to New Orleans today.
Okay.
For Inspire, NOLA Charter Schools. So.
All right, well, have fun.
Did you catch a
We're
body?
talking about New Orleans.
No, she didn't catch
No,
nobody.
I definitely have never murdered anyone.
That we know of.
That I know of.
There you go. All right, Ask Yee is next. 800-585-1051. If you got a question for Yee, call her now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. Hello, who's this?
Hello, hi. I'm calling from Miami. I wonder if you remember this.
Okay.
All right, what's your question for Yee?
Okay, I've been with my partner for like 10 years, and I mean, I met him as a virgin, and now we're engaged. We got engaged this year on New Year's, and I want him to be with someone like else before we get married, and I don't know, I feel like weird, and I don't know if I'm the only one who feels this way, but like, I don't want him to like, I don't want to be his last option. Like, I don't want to be the last person he gets with and then we're together forever and ever and ever.
You're not his last option, Anonymous. You're his first option. You're his first choice and his only choice.
Because I didn't meet him as a virgin, but he was.
Okay, so does he want to have sex with somebody else?
I've never brought it up. He always says no.
Okay, well then he doesn't. Why would you try to make him do something that he doesn't even want to do? I think it's commendable. You know how rare it is to find a guy who hasn't had sex with anybody else and then you end up marrying him and that's the only person he'll be with his whole life. And if that's what makes him happy, then why do you feel like you're not enough?
Because I feel outnumbered. Like I've had sex before him, and he hasn't, and it's just weird to me.
Is that a problem for him?
He's brought it up throughout the years, but I mean, it just feels like a burden.
Like what does he say when he brings it up?
Like, I guess conversations he would have with his friends, like, oh, you and her, when we had our breaks, like, they would tell him, okay, this could have been your chance to step out.
Well, his friends need to mind their damn business because clearly they don't know anything. But I just fear that him doing that might harm your relationship more than it helps it. So if you were to encourage him to do that, it could be feelings that you've never experienced that you might be having. It could be some doubt that it creates for him. Anything could go wrong if you encourage him to do something like that. I don't know why you would create a problem and not just accept the blessing of this is the person, that he wants to be with. I'm the person he wants to be with for the rest of his life, and I'm good enough, and that's all he needs.
Okay, I get that. Thank you. I mean, I guess I'll see it as a blessing.
It is a blessing. Don't create issues where there are none, because now you'll put a strain on the relationship. I wouldn't even try to put that idea in his head, because then that makes it feel like you're not too confident in what your relationship is and in yourself. It happens the reverse way all the time as well. There's a lot of times that men are with a woman and they're her first and she's never with anybody else, and those relationships can last as well.
Okay. All right. Thanks you.
All right. Good luck, and congratulations on you two for being together and getting married and everything.
Thank you. Bye.
Ask Yee, 800-585-1051. If you got a question for Yee, call her now. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Hello, who's this?
This is Lynn.
Hey, Lynn. What's your question for Yee?
I want to know if I should be with my current husband of 11 years that we've been together after I caught him with a prostitute.
Oh, man. So how did you catch him?
We were drinking and we went to a bar and he got a little bit wasted because I guess he was upset with me. Long story short, he acted out like he always do, for yelling, screaming, and acting crazy in public. He grabbed me and made me get in the car with him, and the round was crazy. By the time we got to the destination, which was at home, he told me to get out the fucking car, and when I got out the car, I got in my car. He's like, oh, now you finna leave? And I'm like, to me, I took it like, you want me to leave. So then I get in my car, and then he speed off real fast. Or something in me was like, hey, maybe you should follow him. I'm like, what? That's not something that I really do. So I waited a little while, and I heard you kind of following him a little bit. And then I'm like, where is he going? Because we were driving for like 30 minutes. And the town, the state we live in is Texas, so it's pretty big. So I followed him, and then I seen him pull up to this hotel. And when I noticed, I'm like, this is a hotel for whores. Like, I seen maybe one whore outside. And then I seen the person just walk up to his car, and then she got in, and they were in the car for a minute. And so I knew exactly what was going on at this point. And then I had my gun on me.
Oh, your gun?
Yes, I mean, I carry a gun. I'm licensed to carry a gun, but I've never been in trouble. And at this point, when I thought about my gun, something in me was like, you need to leave. I was like, you know what? I have my gun on me. This is the first thing I'm thinking about. I need to leave. So I sat there for 2 minutes, and then I left. The person was still in his car, and then I went home. I was stuck. So I pulled up to a gas station and just sat there for a while, and then I finally made it home, and then about 2 hours later, I want to say maybe 3 hours later, he walks in the door like nothing happened and goes to get in the shower. And then I didn't say anything to him because I don't think that he knew I knew, what I saw. And then his clothes smelled like sweat. And then he tells me he doesn't text me or hug me after the argument or anything, so I knew what happened. And then the next day, I act like nothing happened. I'm just,
So you've never brought it up to him?
Happened to me because, I'm not an ugly woman. I'm beautiful. Everywhere I go, men try to hit on me. I have the body that most women wish they had. And it's like, I work really hard. I'm not dumb.
Lynn, just 1 second. 1 second. So you've never confronted him about this?
No, this is actually how I confronted him. I went like a day or two, of course, it was stressful, and he never told me where he went. But finally, he says, I went and play basketball. That's what I do to relieve stress. And I'm like, okay, I do know him to do that, but this is like the second time that the prostitute name has came up, and I'll get to that. But long story short, when he got home, he was at work, so he worked till late tonight, sometime overnight. And so I texted him, and I was like, it really hurts that you were the one that started the argument at the restaurant, and then you had the audacity to leave all night and not even show any remorse. And then he goes, I apologize. I said, did you cheat? And he was like, no, I never cheated on you since we've been married. I said, are you being honest? He said, yes. And I said, okay, so be honest. Did you go to a hotel? And I didn't get a text back for like 2 minutes. And then he texted back and said, yes, I went to a hotel, and a girl named Red got in my car, and we were just sitting there for 15 minutes. I just talked about what happened between you and I, and nothing happened. And I'm thinking to myself, and he said, I paid her to talk. And I'm like, I said, I'm the type of person, I'm not argumentative. You can talk to me about anything.
Lynn, I just want to interrupt you for a second because there's a lot of red flags in this whole entire story. First of all, you said that when you guys were out, right, drinking and everything, and he got mad, started an argument, and pulled you in the car like he always does. So it seems like this is a normal circumstance for you guys with these arguments.
Well, yeah, to be honest, it's like I fell in love with him too quick, and then after I figured out how his family is, they all don't care where they are. If they with someone and they have an issue.
But that's the first red flag, and then he was driving, but you guys were drinking, so he was driving drunk.
Yes, he had about 4 or 5 drinks, and he said he wasn't drunk, but he was upset and driving crazy. Yeah.
All right, so you guys both could have had a situation where you could have been killed in that situation.
Yes,
And this just sounds like a really toxic relationship. It also feels like you felt the need to follow him because you knew something was off. So clearly our women's intuition lets us know when something isn't right.
Yeah.
Okay, so not only do you guys always argue in public, not only did he grab you, putting you in the car, not only did he jeopardize your life by driving drunk and you went along with him, then after that he actually left and you knew to follow him because you knew something was up and you've been knowing something was up, and then he lied to you when you confronted him, and then he's still acting like he didn't do anything wrong. And it seems like you don't even really want to confront him.
Well, he's a pretty strong guy.
So you're scared of him?
To an extent, to an extent, I guess I am, but to an extent, I feel like I'm not. The thing is that the reason why I'm calling is because he's saying that he wants, when it came down to sex, after the situation, like a couple of days later, of course, I could tell he wanted sex, but I was like, I wouldn't have sex with you, unprotected. And then I kind of fought myself because his behavior caused issues in the bedroom to where I didn't want to have sex with him. So
I wouldn't want to have sex with somebody that I knew was sleeping with prostitutes.
No, before this, his attitude, the way he acts, the thing wrong with him, and then, he went to a doctor and they said, he has some type of mental issues. I guess that makes him angry because he was in the military for a long time. So I kept giving him, I feel like I keep giving him passes, but I feel like this is the last.
But Lynn, what about you? You keep on giving him passes, and it seems like you're more concerned about him than you are with yourself.
True.
So why is that? What about you? Why don't you put yourself first? Are you happy?
No, actually no.
Okay, and I think that's the bigger issue, is that you're putting his happiness above your happiness, understanding him more than you are trying to make sure that you're good. And I think what you need to do is really sit down and think about what would make you happy. And it doesn't seem right now like it's him for a variety of different reasons. And if you're letting him get away with these things, you're not confronting him about it, it seems like you're scared to even say anything to him. That's the bigger issue. Not only is he cheating, but he's also endangering your life. And it also, you physically, how are you supposed to have sex with somebody that's lying lying to you and can't even admit that he has an issue. And the fact that he has whatever mental issues that he has, he needs to get help for that. It can't be a burden to you where you're putting him before you.
I mean, hearing you saying it makes sense now. It's just that I always like to try.
But listen, hold on the line. I'm gonna get your information so we could talk some more.
Hold on. All right. ASCII 800-585-1051. If you got a question for you could call anytime. Nadine, you got rumors on the way?
Yes, we are going to be talking about Russell Simmons. More fallout for him after these accusations.
All right, we'll get into all that when we come back. Keep it locked. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's DJ NV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get to the rumors. Let's talk Russell Simmons.
Well, in the wake of all of these accusations of sexual misconduct against him, Russell Simmons is not going to be in Oprah's The Wisdom of Sunday spirituality book anymore. Now, Oprah made that decision along with her publisher, and they just disclosed that yesterday. So editions of the book in stores next month is just not going to have the Russell Simmons section any longer. So far, at least 12 women have come forward with accusations, and some of them have detailed their stories on Megyn Kelly today. Now, Russell Simmons has denied these allegations on social media, and the NYPD has revealed publicly that they are reviewing information on that matter.
I would love to see how they come to these type of moral decisions, because I actually have Oprah's Wisdom of Sunday book. I love it. The young brother is in there that committed the murder. What's his name? Shaka Singh?
Yeah, Shaka Singh. Like
now, he murdered somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, repentance came, and I guess
he turned his life around.
He turned his life around. I mean, we don't know if Russell actually did these things that he's accused of, but didn't he turn his life around from what we see?
Well, I don't know, because some of these things happened just last year, allegedly. So it's just hard to, I think
I just
right
understand
now,
how we weigh things on a moral scale. To say take it out the book altogether, I don't know. But I guess I got a collector's item now, because I have the book with Russell Simmons part.
All right, well, L.A. Reid, who was the former CEO of Sony Music Entertainment's Epic Records, is now coming back into the music industry. He was ousted last year over sexual harassment allegations, but now he's coming back. He is going to be launching Hitco, which is a music and publishing company. So we'll see if what has allegedly happened will affect that business. That
Will women work with L.A. Reid?
We shall see. Now let's discuss Black Panther. Roxanne Gay and Yona Harvey were the first black women lead writers for Marvel back in 2016 when they worked on Black Panther. And that is the basis, obviously, for the movie that's coming out. But they did not invite Roxanne to the LA debut of the movie.
Oh, damn.
Yes, and she tweeted out, "My feelings are real hurt that I didn't get an invite to the Black Panther premiere. I mean, goddamn, Marvel, goddamn." She said, "And I mean, it's fine. I'm not fancy, just admitting that my little feelings were hurt. I'm still thrilled about the movie and can't wait to see it."
Oh, you think you're popping with your little Black Panther writing credits, and then boom, you don't get invited to the LA premiere.
Did you get invited to the LA premiere?
No, but I ain't write for Black Panther either. I actually did get invited to the LA premiere.
Well, then she goes on to say, phew, well, had something come up yesterday, but this was just a tweet. It wasn't meant to become a thing. I was just sharing a personal L. Pulling the curtains back. The comics and movies are different entities. I just felt, as I said, bummed to not be invited. That's
she wrote the comic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
that the movie is based on.
Did Ta-Nehisi Coates get invited? Ta-Nehisi Coates? Did Reggie Hudlin get invited? There's been a lot of writers for Black Panther.
Well, I don't know if they did or not.
Yeah, I mean,
they should have all got...
Yeah, but then you got to invite people who actually drew in the comic before.
She's not saying that she should have been, but she's saying that her feelings were hurt, and she was just revealing that you can have your feelings hurt. That
well, you
weren't
think
invited.
you're popping because you wrote for a Black Panther comic, and then boom, you don't get invited to the Black Panther movie premiere.
Anyway, Octavia Spencer posted, "I will be in Mississippi when this movie opens. I think I will buy out a theater in an underserved community there to ensure all our brown children can see themselves as a superhero. I will let you know where and when Mississippi. Stay tuned."
Well, I got a theater on the 13th. What's the theater called, Eddie? AMC Kips Bay here in New York.
Oh, you bought out the theater?
It seats 300 people. So, we're going to be in there doing what we do.
Are you going to dress up?
You know I'm wearing my Black Panther Halloween costume.
Oh,
I wore my Black Panther. Listen, I was Black Panther for Halloween last year. My wife was Storm. You know I'm wearing my costume, okay? And I'm going to the Marvel premiere on the 12th, all right? And I'm going back for my screening on the 13th.
Who's his nemesis?
Killmonger. Killmonger, Claw.
So you're going to go just as Killmonger?
I'm going to be Killmonger.
First of all, Michael B. Jordan is Killmonger, so that's impossible, sir. Unless you plan to have a lot of plastic surgery before the 13th.
Does he have a mask?
No, he doesn't wear a mask. Well,
Don't you go in blackface, MB. All right, well, I'm Angela Yee, and that is your rumor report.
Thank you, Miss Yee. Shout to Revolt. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Everybody else, the People's Choice Mix is up next. Hit us up with your requests. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.